brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking hosts, the good old boys. Suds, Suds, Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Hello, it's that time again. And we're going to travel around the world today.
Make sure that your medication is fully engaged.
Does around the world still mean what I think it means?
Yes.
Yes,
Wow. Let's see.
Flashback.
Do we need to re-record this the preamble to this show?
And it still costs $20 the same as in town.
I can almost
Little
hear,
over 1 minute in, and here we are.
hear the public radio station shutting us off one by one right before you said that, Caperton.
It's on the box, man.
It is on the box. Welcome, everyone. This is a Sud segment, in case you were wondering, where...
It's the epitome of average.
yeah.
Idiot.
It's a place where good beer meets bad radio and questionable
Goes around the world, has a baby,
things.
and
Yeah.
it's a podcast.
It's a podcast, yes. I am good old gal Julieanna, and today at the table with me is our good old boy Dave.
Well, so long as we've got some time to kill, I think I'll have a beer.
Okay.
And that was good old boy Dave, folks. Good old boy Caperton.
Hello.
Hello. Good old boy Matt.
It's dank.
It is dank in here. And good old boy Mike.
This is good old boy Mike. In Caperton, it is not around the world. This is across
the world.
Yes.
That's right.
I
So
know
I
where
did-
I know where you were headed.
So I did take it into the tanker.
In the 12-pack of beer.
Right into the gutter.
I like that.
Right
Yeah.
into the gutter.
Yeah, we knew exactly where you were going.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies.
And scene.
Yeah. So we have discussed some collaborative beers on previous episodes. We've even done the beer camp series over the years, and today is no exception. This one is just a little different in the sense that it is across the world as opposed to across the East Coast to West Coast. So more about that now. Good old
Which is
boy
cool.
Dave.
What?
You're up.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Me.
Oh,
So guess what? Sadly, none of them are in our city, but they'll be in Portland, Maine, San Francisco, Chicago. Pause for the cause.
Yes, pause for the cause. Yes, we actually had a plan there.
I know.
And we're going to go back, and they actually have an 8-city festival tour, and Matt was going to tell us about where those are. So
Awesome. Sorry.
Hit it, Matt.
here we go.
All right. Sadly, none of those are in our city, but they'll be in Portland, Maine, San Francisco, Chicago, Austin, Seattle, Philadelphia, Long Beach, California, and Raleigh, North Carolina.
We made that look easy.
Yeah. It's a show with beer, people. Please lower your expectations in advance.
We should start drinking the beer after the show.
Really?
That would make this no fun then.
Yeah.
Right. Have you ever heard me without beer? It's not pretty.
Sorry, it's my fault.
It's okay. All those things that say Julieanna, that's you.
Yeah.
Semi-scripted, folks. Semi-scripted.
Yeah, the word semi is definitely.
Except when it's not. Okay.
Yeah.
Read the words.
Okay. Good old boy Dave, take over for me.
Okay, so we've discussed collaborations on several episodes, and we'll talk about them more today, but I think it's time to get to the tasting. So here are the beers we are going to try today. Atlantic Style Vintage Ale, which is an English style brewed with plums from...
I'm so looking forward to that beer.
Oh, God, here goes getting all British again.
Pip, pip.
From Fuller's Brewery.
Come on, kids, let's build the campfire.
Camp Out Porter, brewed with vanilla and honey from Garage Project. Dry hopped barley wine style ale from Avery Brewing Company.
It sounded like a good idea.
Hoppy Belgian style golden ale brewed with lemon peel from Duvel Mortgat.
And the Germans have done something very weird.
Dry hopped Berliner Weiss style. Dry hop Berliner style Weisse from St. Arnold Brewing Company.
What you talking about, Willis?
Dunkel Weiss from Anger, which is how people in Alabama say anger. East Meets West IPA from Treehouse Brewery.
And the crowd goes wild.
Not really. Ginger lager brewed with ginger and cayenne and fermented in oak from Surly Brewing Company.
You missed the other 5 ingredients.
Cayenne who?
Oh, jeez. Raspberry Sundae, a spiced ale brewed with lactose, cocoa, vanilla, and raspberries. Mike's favorite.
Do they call it
from
the pig
brewery.
trough?
Wow, that was
Easy.
not
Easy.
That was
bucket.
actually
That was unkind.
no. That was like a thing at 31 Flavor
Yeah,
or
I bet it
the
was.
what was the name? Brestlers or whatever, the ice cream parlor. They used to have like the pig trough. With
Did you say Brestlers?
Well, I don't know. Whatever.
Breast-
Did you say pig
Breast
trough?
I don't know. Yeah, you put like 20 scoops of ice cream in
Downhill.
one
Straight
thing.
from the
you know?
oven.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
You remember
Okay.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
They're too young to remember that.
Right,
Anyway,
yes.
We didn't have video games. That was
right.
The,
Yeah, we had to entertain ourselves with ice cream back then.
I knew a kid in high school we called the pig trough, but that was a different name.
Whoa.
I think they called it the dumpster or something.
Yeah,
The
I had a
dumpster.
dumpster in high school.
I don't like where this is going.
Thai style iced tea brewed with lactose, orange peel, tamarind, and star anise.
Now, this is how metal music is warping people
From-
into making beer like this.
McKellar. West Coast Dippa, or double IPA for those of you not initiated,
Super stretch.
from Boneyard Beer. And the white IPA with yuzu brewed with coriander, nutmeg, and surprisingly yuzu
Konnichiwa.
from Kijaki
Hi.
Brewery.
Hi. Hi.
So, as those of you can tell, this year's collaborative series version of Beer Camp is with what? I know. It's across the world. So we've got 6 breweries from the United States and 6 breweries from overseas, which you could tell
The
in
overseas
Dave's
area.
descriptions.
Will this
Yes.
make America great again?
This probably...
We can only hope. We can only hope.
I don't know. I got no idea.
Hashtag
I got
oh
idea.
no.
Beer may,
Yeah.
Hashtag oh no.
may give good old boy Dave a stroke.
Not. So this episode is brought to us by...
Sip Suds and Smokes the game. You can be any one of your favorite good old boys or gals as you try to build the ultimate collection of all good things in life. Is this good old boy Harmeet? He's now trying a 23-year-old Pappy. Oh, sorry, Harmeet. That's actually a bottle of $5 rot gut. Looks like you'll be headed straight to the bathroom. Now we see good old boy Caperton. He's got a prized barrel-aged Saison. Whoops. Sorry, that's a macro lager. You go back to the start. Download Sip Suds and Smokes the game wherever you can find really bad games.
Okay. Good old boy Caperton. Why don't you read the Suds rating things for today?
The Suds ratings things.
Have we ever done this before?
It's my favorite thing to read.
You know, English isn't her first language, folks,
Okay.
so just give her a break.
So anyway, we will be discussing and rating these beers with our highly scientific Suds ratings.
In fake British
Plus
accents.
our signature highly scientific belching sounds. Here are those ratings now. A rating of 1. That sucks. Give me anything but a bud. A rating of 2. Was that a belch? Rating of 3. What a relief. Rating of 4. A body should really not make that sound. And lastly, the highest rating for the most coveted beers is a rating of 5. Listen to that hang time. Give me another.
It's like you really believed it. When
I sold it there, didn't I?
You really brought it.
I can
if
do
there
it.
was like an award for
Method acting.
Brought in it.
he puts the meth.
I brought
Rotten
it.
it.
I brought it. Did it?
He put the meth in method acting.
What would be the rating for it smells like a truck stop bathroom?
Yeah.
7.
Negative.
Its own special rating.
Negative 2.
Yep.
I think
It's reserved
depends
for only
on
one beer.
The experiences you've had in truck stop bathrooms.
Wow, man.
Ooh.
That would.
Yeah.
And would you call that across the world or around the world, Dave?
Depends on how much you're paying.
Around the bowl.
Okay.
All right. Let's get to the beer.
I
Good
didn't
old
say
boy.
anything there, just
Yeah.
for the record.
Good old boy Dave.
Yes.
Please discuss your top 3 picks.
Oh, he's gonna get his one
Yeah.
before the
So,
break.
okay. My first pick is the Atlantic Style Vintage Ale from Fuller's.
Oh yes, Fuller's.
So, they're calling their Beer Camp collaboration an Atlantic Vintage Ale, which combines elements from Fuller's robust vintage ales with some American-style hopping techniques. They use plums in the brew to complement Fuller's naturally fruity yeast strain and bottle-condition the beer for added longevity. This beer should age well in the bottle for years to come. Drink it now or stash away to revisit in the future.
Yeah, I thought this was a really strong beer. Very nice malt backbone. The hopping was very even-handed, not overdone. And I thought the plums brought a really nice fruity finish to it. Kind of reminded me of Mike in that way. Fruity finish.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of Fuller's and the kinds of beers they do. And I gave this beer a 4.
We'll be back in just a minute.
Rolling clouds and crashing surf, iridescent dunes reflecting by the light of the rising, glowing moon. Seashore mesmerizing, night breeze hypnotizing. We've come across these back roads none too soon. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling. Wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows. My hand is yours forever, sweet love.
Welcome back, everyone. We are discussing the Sierra Nevada Beer Camp 2017 across the world. Good old boy Dave just finished his first of his top 3.
And I had a riveting question for the gentleman in the freaky hat over there. I just wanted to know if he was having a Fuller's, if it was better than worse than the Fuller's show that we did earlier, filled with British accents that just were flowing fluidly for 52 minutes previously.
Wow, I understood like no words.
Good God.
Isn't that typical of talking with somebody from,
Oh, watch
From
it.
whatever-
Our fans across the pond.
Hey, Caperton, be real. There are no fans anywhere on any side of any pond.
Fair enough.
They're hitting fast forward right about now.
Right about 5 minutes ago.
Fair enough.
So on the Fuller show, I mean, I know we covered like the classics like London Pride and their ESB, and those are both great beers. But I think this was equal to those beers for one reason: America. That's right. This had a little bit of America in it.
MAGA.
Yeah. So
You're jealous of those hops, son.
maybe I don't know, man. No, but I don't think the hops were overblown in this. It was kind of it showed the English constraint to me. The way they handled this beer, everything was very balanced.
They were very reserved people with just really bad food.
And teeth.
Wow. Well, let's just hate on everybody.
Yeah.
Banned once again.
Okay. Good old boy Dave, what was your second pick?
Second pick, was the dry hopped barley wine style from Avery.
Avery's founder, Adam Avery, was eager to brew this style and told us this story. Da, da, da.
When I was a little boy.
Yeah. Sierra Nevada Bigfoot barley wine inspired him to try his hand at that style, leading him to the creation of Hog Heaven, which is an Avery brewing classic. The idea behind this beer for beer camp across the world is actually not to collaborate at all, but rather to brew the exact recipe for Sierra Nevada's Bigfoot and the exact recipe for Avery's Hog Heaven and blend the two distinct finished beers together and then bottle condition a new version of these two classic beers. The resulting brew is lovingly called Big Hog or Hog Foot, depending on the brewer's preference.
You can taste the hog foot.
Yes, and this is a 9.4% ABV beer.
Ooh, dang. It is every bit 9.4%. It to me, this is like a double IPA. It's got the caramel malt backbone, triple double backspin with a whirly bird, and a really strong bittering hop to match with it. And I'm not always a fan of beers like this, but this one I thought was really well done. And I would like to actually maybe age this a little bit and see, let some of the hop fall back a little bit over time and see if it smooths out anymore. But I really enjoyed this beer, and I gave it a 3.
And what is your third of the 3 thirds?
All right, let's get controversial, everybody. There's going to be some discussions. So my third is the ginger lager from Surly in Minnesota.
Together, they're brewing a lager infused with hot ginger and a touch of cayenne, which emphasizes the ginger heat, before fermenting on a blend of oak, honeycombs, and hops. This may seem like an odd concept. I mean, let's be honest. It is an odd concept. But the finished beer more than makes up for this seemingly strange combination of flavors. The ginger is bright and crisp. The cayenne falls just below the heat threshold, and the oak adds a delicate roundness to the finish. This ultra crisp lager is very balanced and incredibly drinkable and will be one of the sleeper hits of the beer camp pack. This one is 6.2%.
So I think like most lagers, this one is one that you would definitely want to drink cold. As it warms up a little bit, I think it becomes a little muddled, and the heat from the cayenne and ginger sort of take over a little bit. But when it was cold, and even now I still enjoy it. I think the flavor of the ginger is very refreshing. I think that anyone who doesn't like this is probably a jerk. So if you don't like this beer, you're a jerk is what I'm saying. And
I do not.
Wow, somehow things prove themselves true, don't they? It's like I'm clairvoyant. Well, anyways, I thought this just had a nice, crisp flavor, and it was very different. And I gave this beer a 4.
Cool. Moving on. Good old boy, Caperton. Can we discuss your top 3?
Well, should I give these in a 1, 2, 3 order or in no particular order?
I say 2, 3, 1.
Okay. How about we start at the bottom and work in the since a couple of these beers overlap with Dave, the one beer that doesn't overlap with Dave, and that way we will read the description for the dry hopped Berliner Weisse from St. Arnold.
What you talking about, Willie?
Yeah.
Okay. So they wanted to make a beer that was a bit outside of both breweries' normal wheelhouses.
Yeah.
So together they chose to create a twist on the classic tart Berliner Weisse. They're playing off the slightly sour twang of the base beer by adding heaps of dry hop flavor to complement the tartness with citrusy and fruit-forward hop notes. The primary yeast strain is Sierra Nevada's famous Weisse wheat beer yeast, which imparts notes of banana and clove, blending seamlessly with the hops to create a dry, white wine-like flavor that is as crisp and refreshing as anything they've ever tried. This one is 4.2%, and since they talked about hops so much, the bittering hops are Suds and the finishing hops are Suds and Amarillo.
Well, I did not know the hops, but that definitely
explains a lot.
That explains a lot. It was a little thin. I mean, as you would expect from a Berliner. And it's a style that has seen a resurgence in the last few years and sort of been done to death. And I think, just to sort of inject a little creativity in the style, maybe I like what they did here with the hops. I do. The noble hops sort of came through a little bit for me. It was super light and like I say, I just really liked the combination of the hops and the tartness, and I gave it a 4. Yeah.
Okay. And your beer number 2?
Yes. Well, I really liked the Atlantic style vintage ale as well. That was the Fuller's collaboration. It was malty, sweet, just a ton of plum fruitiness and a nice bitterness that I think sort of balanced everything out there for me anyway. That I think really sort of iced the cake as far as I'm concerned, and I gave it as a 4 as well.
The one thing with that beer that if I had to say was catching up with them, if there was such a thing as a typecasting in a beer, this would be it. And I think that's what's a little difficult for me to wrap my head around, is because those Fuller's beers have been around for so long, and they are just like ingrained, that they just don't venture off, those recipes at all.
Right.
And they're always so consistent and so, spot on. I think that's what was difficult for me to wrap my head around was it, tasting it for what was in the glass, but we actually had the descriptions in front of us as we were going through those. Yeah. And I think that's part of what happened is Fuller goes this way, and I'm gesturing to my left. I know you can see that on the radio. And, my taste buds just went in a different direction. And I was like, what, this is not Fuller's, because I just, it's such a typecast, taste profile.
I'd like to give it a little time on the shelf, which I think they may have recommended, just to see what happens there. Because I find it to be a pretty harmonious beer as is right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's really going to change dramatically with aging. I think it's just going to get thinner if I had to pick anything.
Yeah, maybe.
I agree.
So for my third beer,
dun dun dun,
I as well chose the dry hop barley wine, which was the Avery collaboration. Certainly big, very punchy, right there. As you would expect, right, from a barley wine, and I like both the barley wines in question. I'm not particularly drawn to the style as much as others that I know, but I do really like those two. And it was a lot of toffee sweetness, which you would expect, and then just a gigantic citrus hoppy presence in that thing. It was just unbelievable. And again, I'd like to let this age as well and see what happens with this thing. But I gave it a 3.
Moving on, good old boy Matt. Let's discuss your top 3.
So for the first one, we've pretty much talked about it a little bit. The dry hop Berliner Weisse. When the descriptor says it's outside of both breweries' normal wheelhouses, it is absolutely outside their wheelhouses. I actually really like St. Arnold a lot, and I really like Berliner Weisses and this Berliner style Weiss a lot. However, dry hopping it just seems a little odd, and it is making it a little weird. It's quite tart. It's still enjoyable. I would wish it was a little less dry hopped. It's, like I said, dry and enjoyable, and it is white wine like flavor. I do give it a 4.
I was really trying to think if I've ever had another dry hop blender Weisse.
I've never had one.
And it was, the clip that we keep on playing is right on spot, for this, which is...
What you talking about, Willis?
I mean, seriously, I just don't get, the general concept of hopping a blender Weisse. And it just is such an unusual thing you would do. I mean, I would almost call it, you're screwing it up.
Right.
It's quite pungent.
And what is the...
Well, here, let me just say, if I can interject, can I?
This will be...
I have.
Too late. It's too late.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Berliners would be traditionally served with a fruited syrup.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah,
what would you add? What would you add to this one?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, I would add something to cover up the hops.
No,
I absolutely would.
You're missing the point here. I think. Yeah, I think that is the point. Is that you're going to get the fruity character from the hops instead, and it's sort of almost a logical progression for me.
I'm thinking
it's America, man. We don't, we don't do traditions.
I don't think the fruit compote that they put out in front is. I mean, there are apples and blackberries and peaches, compote. It's not going to be anything that's going to be bitter and a citrus bomb,
I'm drawing a blank on what you would normally have.
There's woodruff
and
syrup, raspberry. I think.
Yeah, definitely raspberry.
Yeah, you're going to get that kind of very.
I like
primal.
what they did. I like this. Though.
Well, anyway. I was just curious if any of you had thought of another, a dry hopped blender Weisse, or was it just me that I'm sitting here racking my brain going, yeah, no, I can't think of one I've ever had before besides this one today. So
it was pretty good. I think it got better as it warmed up.
Yeah, it's in that same conversation though we had just about Fuller's though, which is. You have that
tradition.
You have that when somebody says, I'm going to serve you a blender Weisse, you have this concept. And even if you're combining it with fruit compote, it's like, this is the way we all hold our hands and walk down, this
might be
this
interesting if you served it to somebody and didn't tell them what it was. So,
I agree.
So that
I think
a blind test.
I think that would have done. I actually think that would have done this a great service.
All right, we'll turn the recorder off. We'll
back up, and it'll be a blind tasting. Mike, just what's in this glass, And I would have said, at the end of it, after I've had this, I would have said,
What you talking about, Willis?
Right, that's what exactly I would have said. So, I'm sorry, man. I interjected. You had a couple more to talk about.
Yeah. So my second one's East Meets West IPA by Treehouse Brewery.
I touch myself to Tom Brady.
Yes.
Just like that.
Yes.
That's exactly how it tasted, too.
That's an IPA, of course. They're blending two approaches to the IPA in this East Meets West IPA. Sierra Nevada's malt body and profile was blended with the heavy-handed, very late hopping schedule employed by Treehouse to create a new hybrid IPA. Lightly bitter and heavy with citrus-like hop flavor. This puppy is 7%, and the bittering hop is Simcoe. The finishing hops are, of course, Citra and Mosaic.
So, you're combining citrus and pine hops. It is a weird combo. It is, however, it is balanced. It's not a hop bomb that I didn't really know what I was going to get.
Well, there's no lupulin in this.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason that
no werewolves were harmed in the making of
Thank goodness. I
thought citrus and pine is what a West Coast IPA was.
That's what this is. East meets West Coast.
Right.
So
is this like a
just pointing that out.
Minnesota IPA or where's like the West Coast now? What's the middle?
Midwest Coast?
Like Indiana?
This is a Midwest Coast beer, yo.
Indiana?
Yes.
IPA?
Probably stuck with people with fake British accents.
Anyway. We threw you off.
Yeah, threw you off.
I think we're done with this beer now. I give it a 4. I give it a 4.
We hurt, man.
Okay, so my last one is the Raspberry Sundae Ale brewed with lactose, cocoa, vanilla, and raspberries by the brewery.
Yes, they're considering this a spiced ale. This beer features raspberry, cocoa, and vanilla, in addition to lactose and unfermentable sugar, for those that don't know, that adds a richness and a sweetness, helping to blend and meld the flavors of this ultra-complex beer together. It's been a true pleasure to work with the artists at the brewery, using ingredients and techniques outside of our normal wheelhouse.
We will make history, or we will die trying.
Yep.
Speaking of dying trying.
And this is 8%.
Juliet, is this the first time this beer has been made?
Ever.
Ever.
In life.
Ever.
Okay. So this is absolutely the fidget spinner of the case.
What did you say?
Fidget spinner.
I don't think you can.
Clearly, you're not hyped up with the kids, because that's what.
That's the thing.
That is the thing.
Yeah.
This is absolutely a trendy experimental beer. It's not bad. Slightly sweet. Maybe even a dessert beer. Absolutely experimental. I don't see this being a year round ever.
Lots of chocolate.
Yes. So much raspberry, so much cocoa. Those were the two flavors I really got the most out of it. You got any thoughts?
Well, I'll talk about those in a minute.
Okay. Well, I'll give it.
He's got thoughts.
I give it a 3.
I have thoughts. And I figured out where I remember this flavor profile from. So.
Well, then.
He met a girl once in Vegas. Certain amount of body lotion.
Truck stop.
Well, yeah. So
she was very fruity.
So actually, the raspberry sundae is not in my top 3. I thought.
How dare you interrupt me and not have anything to say about it?
But the thing is I remembered where that flavor profile came. The name of the place was Farrell's. That was the name of the ice cream parlor that they served the pig trough in. And, trough. So I know none of your
pre-show
back to the pig trough.
Pre-show reference.
But I agree with what you said about that.
I can tell already you are going to get on my nerves.
But that beer really captured, a lot of my attention, and because I thought it was interesting how true to the description they had done.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this, and I know a lot of people are not fans of lactose and beer, but I really thought this was one of those times where the beer really fit the description and the title of the beer really well.
There was no false advertising.
Absolutely not. If you want a raspberry sundae, buy the raspberry sundae.
And with that, we will be back in just a minute.
Destination, but baby, the whole elation riding down this lover's avenue. As slow as the willow blows, or as fast as the whirlwind grows, we glide beneath the stars in cobalt blue. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling, wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows, my hand is yours forever, sweet love. Our eyes ahead on these back roads with a view.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We are in the middle of a brewery takeover.
We're in the middle of something.
Well, and this one is kind of special.
Stuck in the middle with you.
Exactly. Because it's the Sierra Nevada Beer Camp 2017 across the world. And at this point of the episode is when good old boy Mike discusses his top 3.
Oh, boy.
This is when we actually drive into that brick wall.
Too late.
So I think we'll stick with the theme here, and let's cover one of the beers that we have not introduced yet. I think did we do the white IPA with
No.
you?
No.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, this is we'll start right there, and I'm going to let you introduce this beer for us, Julieanna.
Aw, thanks, Dad. Well,
That's a little weird.
okay.
Discussed
Hitachino
that you were not going to call
Nest.
them in Dad.
most popular beer is their white ale, as so, you could see it around. So it was a natural starting point for this collaboration. We opted to add hops, as we are known to do, and made a white IPA based on the flavor profile of the white beer. Now, Kyuchi suggested incorporating the use of yuzu, which is a small Asian citrus fruit, into the brew. And we found the bright lime-like tartness perfectly accentuated the flavors of hops and the spicy notes of the classic wheat beer yeast. So this one is 7%. The bittering hops were Centennial, and the finishing hops were Comet, Centennial, Citra, and Eureka.
Wow.
Really?
Eureka. I found it.
Brilliant.
Hi. Welcome to talk about the Japanese beer.
Okay, I'm gonna there
we go.
Yes, right.
There we go.
You know, it's very
done.
good. Hi. Very good. Hi.
That East Asian expansion we were planning on is
Yes.
pretty much shot in the foot now.
Banned from a whole country. Yes.
Banned once again.
That's right.
So the thing that I love about this, it is right in the wheelhouse for Hitachino's nest. You know, the thing is, I ran across, excuse me a second. You know, a lot of people, they struggle to find Japanese beers that really have great appeal for them. And one is there's really not a very broad range of beers that are actually made, you know, in Japan. Most people know
Ichiban.
Yep, or Sapporo, or you know, a couple of well-known macro brands that hit wide distribution. But this, when people ask me about a craft beer style beer in the Japanese market, this is it. It's traditionally it's been very soft. It's been I don't know if the base is wheat, but it has a lot of the same, you know, qualities with a wheat, you know, malt bill, you know, around it, mash bill. I'm sorry. So I really think this is, if they were to take that beer to a new level and actually do something, not, you know, outside of their normal flavor profile, that's what I really loved about this. And the coriander was a very nice touch, and I thought fit very well with a lot of things that you would find, you know, in the same style. The nutmeg I was not a fan of, but I'm not a fan of nutmeg in a lot of beers. But the yuzu that was in here, I thought brought just a little bit something to kind of kick your flavor, you know, your experience just a little off kilter and go, hey, you know, you're having something you haven't had before. So I really loved it. I thought it was soft. It had lots of flavor. I think you'd be I think this would be a great thing to pick out of the pack and enjoy. So my Suds rating for the white IPA with yuzu from Gucci Brewery is a 3.
Did you get a lot of nutmeg from it? I did not get a lot of nutmeg.
No, there wasn't, but there was enough to be offensive for me.
Okay, I got you.
Mike is very sensitive to nuts.
Absolutely,
You know,
hates nuts.
I always think
I
of
don't
which
like
Santa's
nutmeg
elves
either.
are holding
Yeah.
hands every time somebody says something that's, you know, out of a mistletoe bomb. So, the other two beers we have introduced already, so I'll get to talk about these. The first one is a brewery that I know very well, which is Treehouse, out of Western Massachusetts.
I touch myself to Tom Brady.
I have met a lot of people in that line at Treehouse that's their theme song, you know.
Brady?
Yeah. That they
Brady's
touch
a theme song?
No, they touch themselves with Tom Brady.
Oh, okay.
So, if you want to learn more about, you know, Treehouse beers, we've had some good shows on Treehouse beers previously.
Or touching yourself to Tom Brady.
Yeah. Actually, that
Next
sound
episode.
clip was actually
That's
from
the
the
show I
Trillium
wanna
show.
listen
So,
to.
but you know, I really thought this was right in their wheelhouse. You know, I'm very familiar with this hop profile, and I really thought it was very indicative of what they would bring to the table. You know, they are well known for also applying a lot of lupulin powders to several things they make. Probably the juggernaut within the Treehouse lineup is Julius, as well as King Julius are probably the ones that are, you know, really hold a lot of that taste profile for Treehouse. So I like the fact that they kind of ventured outside that very, you know, traditional hop profile that they have brought in so many different beers. They're moving into a fantastic production brewery, And I can't wait for the rest of the world to actually experience a lot of things that Treehouse will be producing. So
I'm ready.
Yeah, I think a lot of you are going to get to know these beers over time. I really thought this was fabulous. East meets West IPA from Treehouse Brewery. My Suds rating for that is a 4.
All right, then.
And the third one.
The third one is a beer we've already talked about quite a bit. It is from Avery. It is the dry hopped Barleywine.
Pigfoot.
Yeah. So I think part of what when I picked this up, the thing is that Hogshead, just really jumped out at me, and I was like, wow, this is a split between Hogshead and Maharaja.
Dude, if a Hogshead jumped out at me, I think I'd probably have a heart attack.
I should say the Big Hog and Hogfoot is the name of those beers.
They should call it Pigfoot.
This is just very Avery-like. Their hop profile is a little burnt, and I love the bitterness that tends to come off especially when I pick up Maharaja. It's like, wow, hello, old friend, and I just love that hop profile from that beer, and have for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But I like that this is actually pushing the bounds into bringing a lot more sugar into the play as a barley wine with that hop profile. And I think that allowed them to dry hop this and actually infuse it with more and more on the back end, and to the point where they go, I think that's enough. No, add another 5 pounds, and I can almost see the process that they were going through. They were going, that's enough. That's not
11.
enough. Yeah. So I think somebody was in there going, that's enough. Stop. And it's a wonderful balance, between all of this. I know it was a little tough for Matt to kind of wrap his head around.
Mm-hmm.
He cried.
Very sad face.
But I really thought that the dry hopping actually kicked this up to a new level. And I really enjoyed this. I think this did well in the Beer Camp series. I think this would be a wonderful addition in a perennial offering from Avery as well.
A couple of these beers.
I hope they come back to this. Even if they made it like once every 3 or 4 years, there'd be a whole line of people that would get this, including me. So for the dry hop barley wine style ale from Avery Brewing, my Suds rating is a 4.
We're calling it Pigfoot from now on.
I love it.
And now for the top 6 beers that Juliana is going to bring to the table.
Here we go.
She has so many cups in front of her.
Yeah.
You could only see.
All her special
She brought
children.
them all 12 down here.
I know.
It's just a 1-hour show.
I know. So I have to be quick about it.
2 segments.
There are some that you guys have already discussed that I'm just going to briefly say something.
Oh, gee.
No, the
You
white
would add whipped cream to the raspberry
Briefly.
sundae?
Right. Okay. The white IPA with yuzu, I gave it a 4. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a really awesome gateway for people to try some Japanese style beers. I thought it's really great, and I think it's going to give them a lot of fans.
Domo arigato.
Moshi moshi.
The raspberry sundae from the brewery, I also really like that. I gave that one a 4 as well. Very trendy. Now, is this something that would stand the test of time? Probably not. But for what it is now, they're doing a great job. The whole lactose thing, milkshake thing. Yep. Yay. Great. Okay. And the East meets West IPA with Treehouse. Awesome beer.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. I like that there was just a bit of haziness. I think I was the only one at the table that had haziness in the glass, but I thought, yep, this is a good blend of West versus East. Okay. So now we're going to talk about 3 other beers. Yes.
Let's see what you did there.
Snuck it in on us.
Bending the rules.
We watched her the whole time, and she's still
It's like
snuck
she's
it
being
in.
uncharacteristically concise.
Yeah. Okay. So the West Coast Double IPA is a collaboration with Boneyard. It was a given that when Sierra Nevada and Boneyard join forces to make a beer, they're going to get you a certain type of an IPA. Together, they're brewing an intense West Coast style double IPA, heavy with the classic hop character that defines both of their beers. It features Mosaic, Simcoe, Centennial, and Citra in ridiculous amounts, sure to please the hop heads within all of us. This one is only 8.2%, which I thought was interesting for a double IPA. The bittering hop is Cascade, and then it's finished with Mosaic, Citra, Simcoe, and Centennial. It also has farm distilled hop oil
Oh, now we got it.
So that's why I wrote down the word hop attack.
Yes.
Okay.
So
It's aggressive.
yeah. It's okay.
I like it when someone says it's only 8.2%.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah.
I didn't
For
want
a
to bring that
double?
up, but yeah.
So I am not a tremendous West Coast IPA kind of girl. I'm really more of the New England style, and that's not just because I'm from that neck of the woods.
Myself to Tom Brady.
No comment.
No. Now I can name some hockey players, but that's a whole different story.
Whoa. Go Preds. Go Preds. Go Preds.
And we're
Go
done.
Preds.
We
Yeah.
are done.
You know
But-
Woody Al's in a wheelchair, right?
But I thought hey, don't make fun of Cody.
She liked me so much right up to that
You are
point.
going to get on my nerves.
Too late. It's way too late.
But I think for all of the hop fans out there, and there are many of you, this one is going to be your favorite beer because it is a hop attack. And if you're into West Coast IPAs, this thing is just phenomenal for what it is. Okay. This would be, I gave this a 3. Now, the second one that I want to discuss is the Camp Out Porter, which is a collaboration with Garage Project, and they are from Wellington, New Zealand. Okay. So, I thought that was an interesting collaboration to begin with.
Kiwis, eh?
Yeah, so they're playing off the camping theme of beer camp with a beer that they're calling the Camp Out Porter that evokes the flavors of marshmallows toasted over an open fire. The beer features special ingredients such as malt smoked over Manuka wood, which is a native tree to New Zealand, and Manuka honey. Additionally, it contains beechwood honey from California and Tahitian vanilla beans to reflect the sweet and roasted notes we were looking for in this collaboration. This is 7.7%. I thought this was a great beer. It's smoky, it's roasty. There's a little hint of sweetness with the marshmallow. To me, this is what being out in a campfire is.
Dad, can you deliver some pizza so I can actually taste this smoked beer?
What?
That made 0 sense.
I get nothing from that, Mike.
That
What
I got
did that
nothing
mean?
either.
What did that mean?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
smoke?
matter.
Haven't you had pizza delivered out in the woods while you're camping?
Sorry, no, we're not.
No.
Clearly
all
not.
Rich, pampered white people.
Glamping with Mike.
Yes.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be
Just
fun?
look for the.
Yes.
It was a very smoky beer.
Just look for the
Very
giant,
smoky.
luxurious
It needs
RV
something
in the
really
woods.
a very heavy meal, like pasta or cheese or something, to get through it. So
Anyways, I really enjoyed it.
s'mores.
It reminded me all that I like about camping, as a kid especially.
Mosquito
And
bites.
I gave this a 4.
What's your 7th beer, Julie?
snipe hunt.
Actually, it's 6. But who's counting? Yeah. So,
Berry.
yeah. Okay. So the one I'm going to discuss is the one that I'm going to get reamed for the most.
The most.
I'm ready. I'm
Wait,
ready.
have we been reaming you
Got
so
my
far?
reamer.
That's the
Got
question.
my reamer ready.
You're seriously going to pick? Oh, my goodness.
Do it. Let's go.
So this is the Thai style iced
Yes.
tea. Just
Such a
listen to me.
contrarian.
Just listen to me.
Such a contrarian.
Yes.
Listen,
Okay.
kids, when you hear after she goes through this, if you want to know what the definition of pile-on is, this is the definition of pile-on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Hey,
I'm all-
take your finger off the button.
Okay.
No, keep it going. the
I
whole
wanted
time.
to like this beer.
Keep
Yeah.
it going the whole time.
Okay, so McKellar has
It's quite
opened
pungent.
several world-class craft beer bars all over the world, most recently in Asia. So they wanted to
None of them
apply.
serve this beer.
They wanted to apply this globe-trotting take to our collaborative beer. They found inspiration in a classic Thai iced tea, spiced tea, and condensed milk, classic, ubiquitous to Thai restaurants. It's an amber ale with black tea, sweet orange peel, tamarind, and star anise with lactose added for a full and creamy mouthfeel.
You can taste
Now,
the star anus.
this is 7.2%. I know there's a lot going on with this beer, but I applaud it for what they were trying to do.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Too much.
Okay.
Too much.
I do.
trying.
Is this like a participation trophy
Yeah.
or what?
Well, everybody
this is our sixth favorite beer. It's our sixth favorite, right?
Everybody showed up. For what it was cool. Now, would I drink this all the time? Well, heck no.
Would you drink it ever again?
Never.
Yes, because there's one more bottle. But that being said, I gave it a 3, but I thought kudos for trying something really outside of the box.
Sure.
The anus. Star anus.
We should figure out who we're going to give that bottle to.
Not a friend.
Who do we hate?
Not a friend.
Keeping it. Well, ladies and gents, that wraps it up for this wonderful trip around the world. Across the world with many great
around the world
beers.
Later.
We'll never
You're
get
welcome.
there.
You're welcome.
All right. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and you can catch all of our episodes online, as well as on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, PRX, and Spreaker, our native media host. iTunes, Google Play, and our own Android app are the easiest ways to enjoy the show on your phone. Just search for Sip Suds Smokes on iTunes or in the Google Play Store.
We love your feedback, not after this episode. And you can reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com.
And don't forget that our daily tasting notes flow like my overfilled bladder on Twitter every day at Sip Suds Smoke. And our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news.
Hey, you can do something to help us out. I know you had a great time listening to this show. Take the time to hop onto your favorite online outlet, especially iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating and leave us a quick review, and that would be a great big help to us.
Okay, casting off. Good old boy Dave.
Hey, hit me up at leavethecorkin@sipsudsandsmokes.com.
Good old boy Caperton.
Call me back anytime you guys have a 12-beer show.
Good old boy Matt.
No more dry rot shoe beer, please.
Good old boy Mike.
Do you think that they actually sell that Thai beer in a case style? I got somebody I want to send that, so.
Somebody at Gitmo?
Yep. Hey, this is good old boy. Somebody come back, join us once again. Keep on sipping.
This is good old gal Julieanna. You can reach me at audiokitty@sipsudssmokes.com. Keep on shuggling, guys, and we'll see you next time.
This has been a one-tan-hand production of Sip Suds and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.